In the last week, a new leaker has entered the chaos. I didn't even think about reading Poor Leak's leak tracker thing until I looked at it, and I was like, oh, I could just literally read what it says. So far, their legitimacy is being tested, and they are willingly providing information about winds and waves and readily answering questions. While they have not yet proven their claims with images, things seem to be adding up enough to begin tracking and paying attention. Yeah, so super relevant to what I was going to say. Basically, with this whole thing, we don't really know for sure about this new character that has entered the chaos, as Pori Leaks put in so well. The background is that there's been tons of quote-unquote LARPers, even though I don't even really know what that word means, believe it or not. And I haven't been bothered enough to like look it up. I'm just like, if I hear it one more time, I'm gonna lose my mind. But there was all these accounts like popping up, and this Twitter was essentially becoming 4chan, where it's like people are posting all these fake leaks and saying that it's real, like, and people are like, source bro, and they're like, myself, you know, like there's no sources to any of this. Maybe not specifically to this, but to all of the accounts that are popped. Another one just popped up, actually. It's probably the 5th or 6th one, which is absolutely insane. So all that to say that there's this one account that does seem seemingly a little more reputable, I'd say, or credible, but I have some doubts still. And that's the point I really want to drive home today. I mean, I want to go over everything and be excited about it because it's fun and hopeful, but the truth is we still can't verify this person, and tons of people cannot verify this like there's, I don't know what Centro's on about. I want to go over the Ball Guy stuff because Ball Guy essentially put out a conclusion that he came to about this account, and he thought that it could be someone pretending to be someone, a LARPer. He thought that it could be that. And it still can be, but he was thinking that it was like someone that we know, like Moot or something like that. And he put it out without like any evidence for it, and then he kind of felt bad about doing that without any evidence, and then he made a new post about it saying that it shouldn't have accused anyone and all this. I know Ball Guy is a friend and listens to this as well, but you're in the discussion, my friend. But a lot of people took that as like, this means that this person is legit, but not exactly. That just means that we don't know. It just means that he thought it was somebody and it wasn't, and he was sorry for accusing them of being somebody else, and sorry for thinking that that person would do that, if that makes sense. I think that's really a big thing, because a lot of people are believing this with their whole hearts, with their whole chest, you know? Ball Guy's listening. Yeah, probably. And listen, I don't want to speak for him either. I'm sure that he'll come out and say, bring some clarity to it all, but I think he likes leaving it a little ambiguous as well. So, I think that's where the baseline is like, it's 50-50. It's like, we don't know and we do know. I've also said that the truth of the matter is there's a lot of stuff in these leaks, quote unquote, that is probably real. I'm just thinking about 300 Pokemon, man. I'm just thinking about 300 new Pokemon. That's like the most exciting thing. There's real stuff in here. So there's things that people have heard and that were spread around months ago, that are in this information. Okay. I don't know every single thing. I just know that that's kind of the situation. And then it seems like similar to Moot, and this is why Ball Guy thought that it could have been him again. And I don't know. I'm not saying it's him, but I'm just saying could be anyone that does something like him. It's like there's truths, and then you can build off of that from there and make like this whole fan fiction. There, going through his stuff, when I hear it out loud, it sounds like everything that the fans have wanted. It sounds like everything that fans have theorized, myself included. And at the same time, I don't want to accuse this person because they seem very nice and very kind. And I'm not trying to make any enemies or anything. I'm purely saying that we just don't know if we can trust this person or not. That's like the ultimate bottom line here. It's like, these are rumors for now because there's no way to verify if this person is legit or not. What I see happening personally is Ball Guy put out a lot of stuff in replies that not a lot of people have seen, but this person did, and this person is either taking every single thing that Ball Guy said literally and making this whole story up around it, or he's actually legit, you know. And because Ball Guy stuff is real. When I say a lot of it's real, a lot of it is real because it's public stuff that Ball Guy has posted, and turned and like expanded on. That's basically what it is. Until like, there's not a lot of crazy info in here. Okay, so when he started leaking this stuff, I was just like, okay, whatever, I guess cool if he's a real leaker. But the thing is, a lot of it is nothing new. Like, okay, so I'm here, right? Final starter types are Grass, Ground, Fire, Fairy, and Water Psychic. First of all, the tweet that he posted did not have Fire Fairy in it. I know people are like, they've made a case. There's definitely a case for Fire Fairy, but it's even less likely than the other two if we're talking about rumors. And now I'm realizing that maybe I should just go to his account for this kind of thing. Because while I'm looking at this is also something from Centro, Ultima Flash. Like, they're recaps, but the guy himself, where was I here? I just didn't want to have to scroll through his whole entire page. It's fair enough, right? But it's not that much. He started with that one anyway. Yes. Starter types are real, but literally everything else on this page is LARP. He quote tweeted Water Psychic and Grass Ground. Frozen Scott guessed them right somehow. These are the two that he mentions, not Fire Fairy. Just saying, people. Now, apparently Frozen Scott did say Fire Fairy too, but why did he quote tweet the one where it's just Water Psychic and Grass Ground? To me, I don't know. If I'm someone that is a deep thinker, I would look at that in detail. Like, if this was Ku, I'd be like, okay, yeah, he just means these two. Yo, icy boy. I was just reading what Vex was saying. It's tiring people constantly accusing Moot of doing this. When he said he gave it up a long time ago. I don't believe Moot that much, but I don't want to accuse the man either. I got no beef, you know? And to me, yeah, I don't know. There's some bad track records, and unfortunately, I've told him before, like, it's about your reputation. Unfortunately, he built up this reputation, and that's kind of how it goes with people. But hopefully, you know, people can see past it if he's not actually doing it again. Anywho, yeah, I don't really like accusing people of anything either. I always like to give people the benefit of the doubt. But someone could be trolling us hard. Someone could be trolling us hard, guys. I don't care, genuinely, because I like speculating about this stuff. This is cool if the Fire Fairy is not there, because then it means Pama might get something else, you know. This also suggests that the Winds and Waves legendaries are these two. To me, I think people are not understanding this, but I think that this means that, because he says the seed in 3 parts, This is related to Ball Guy's whole thing, the Netsu thing, and yeah, this is a popular fan theory. Okay, these are popular fan typings. I just want to say. This is also based on Ball Guy stuff. Regional Salandit Evo. I had this idea. When Ball Guy posted this on April 23rd, I had this idea probably a few days later. I've said it on the podcast before. I never put it down in writing. And it's funny, the day that this popped up, I was like, dang, I need to get that theory out instantly before people are like, oh, you took it from him. But I did not. I've had the Salandit Evo theory for this for a long time. And I did say it on the podcast. I don't know if this guy follows me or not on the podcast or even here, because I think I said it here. I was going to, what my plan was to do was to make a short about it, because I thought it was so genius. But then I never did. So that kind of happened. And again, I might sound like I'm like accusing this person of stealing everything, but I'm just trying to go through each thing and not debunk them, but just like be like, okay, what is this actually saying? Is it anything new that we haven't heard before? So far, no. Pointless that. This is interesting, but again, this is building off of something Ball Guy said. Surge's son is on the league tour, and the CEO's son is on the Majin tour. So instantly, you get some stuff from Ball Guy here that Ball Guy has been saying this stuff about the tours and the 3 different ways or quests, let's call them. And so instantly this is building off of what Ball Guy said here again. And some of this stuff is also from Billy, right? So some of it is from Billy. The Surge thing Ball Guy had already posted about Surge. He just like expands on it. It's literally, it continues to be that, expanding on things that already exist. This is an easy one to just be like, okay, yeah, but okay, so what is it then? Which is fair if he doesn't tell us. I'm fine with not knowing Gen 11's region for a little bit here, because we haven't even got on this. I was waiting for a podcast from you guys so I could hear it from you guys. Yeah, Rod, the boys are out of town, so I'm doing my own stream today. So this is kind of it. I'll probably say something more like this in a video or something as well with them. What's up, Mikasa? But this is also a stream, so I'm just gonna say hi to the chat really quick. What's up? What's up, Jorah? Okay, cool. This, I'm not too sure what it is. Maybe it means alphas are in the game. You know? Maybe. Maybe it's like he just woke up and is going to destroy all the LARPers. Maybe. This is the one that is very interesting. We know from Ball Guy, this is a part of Ball Guy's whole thing, that he was calling this Netsu, or like a part of it Netsu. And then this Japanese is Konetsu, and apparently that's the name of the seed Pokemon. Okay, so how would he know that? I don't know. I actually don't know how he would know that, and that is not something that was public information. Could he have made the connection himself and been like, wow, because this person seems very smart. What's up, Sora? Did I say hi? I don't know if I said hi. I knew I should check my notifications. I'm here. We're here. What's up, Fan Panova? Warp Nova. Fan Warp Nova. I love that, you know, like these kinds of things, they put the names all together so I can totally read it. That's sarcastic. Then he goes into details about Legends 3, and this is actually depressing. But this again to me is building off of something that Billy has said. Billy's the one that was like, after Legends 3 there was this whole debate about Legends 3, and like it might be the end of the Legends series after Legends 3 if they don't do it well. Like, Billy literally said that. So here we are. I've got to admit, though, LARP surrounding Legends 3 is a lot better than it actually is. Not excited at all. It may very well be the game that puts the series in the coffin after the travesty of Mega Dimension. That kind of feels like building off of what Billy said. I'm just saying. I hope this person doesn't hate me after this. Kurwa, if you watch this, bro, I'm not trying to completely destroy you, I swear. I'm just literally, I'm looking at this through a skeptical lens, just to be fair to everyone, and then after I'm gonna be like, I'm super excited. Game decided to switch to era. If thrown products into disarray, they weren't equipped for such ambitions to line up. So this stuff is super interesting. This is the good stuff. This is like, dang, so this is the behind the scenes. If this is an actual leaker, you know, this is a lot of stuff. He tells us why it was delayed. I can't read every single thing that he did, or I won't be able to play the game today. And we will go over a lot of this on Hidden Power as well. But this is the stuff that would be exclusive to him that we have never heard before. But there's no way to verify it. There's genuinely no way other than we take him at his word, and that's fine for now. To me, it's 50-50. Like I said, I'm not saying one way or the other. No, that's fine. I'm not offended. Rocky, if this is you, I swear. Also, this person has commented some of my stuff before and was very understanding and appreciated truth and like integrity, so I think that they would even appreciate this kind of stream. I'm just reading through it just to make sure that there's nothing I'm really missing. Essentially, maybe I'll go back to the like recap for a lot of this, but basically they needed more time to work on these games because of there being a bunch of issues, bugs with the online capabilities. Then there's this, and this like kind of, I don't understand it. In essence, with more ambitious scope comes more things to fix. Obviously, others such as Ball Guy have talked about the current dev state with remarkable accuracy, but not quite to the level it probably should have been. There are many major problems with the game currently. I don't know, because he says that Ball Guy was accurate in everything that he's saying, but you know what Ball Guy has said is that the game is content complete. Ball Guy has said that the game was basically finished and there's nothing that they need to work on. It's almost like it's kind of sitting there. And so this contradicts that, but then says that it doesn't in the same tweet. So that's a little confusing, that one. And maybe he just misunderstood what Ball Guy said, or maybe I'm misunderstanding it. Yeah, Rod, I'm getting to that. He has not said anything the last 2 days. Pokemon is much like the FIFA World Cup. Sometimes you just never know what will happen. That Seedmon might be fire type based before evolution. Sora, that's a good shout. I think it's very possible. Karasu Unova? What? I said that's on X to you, but you're talking about Gen 11 and I just want to play Gen 10. I know. Me too, but you know, just to know the region, Rod, that's all. What's up, Rescue Squad? Sorry, I didn't see you till right now. Cool. So that's something there. I'm going to go through the recap for a lot of this, because he just goes into a lot of the issues here. But he does mention this. There's more whimsical mini games like races, think jet skis from Wii Sports Resort, and capture the flag mode, that I was particularly enamored with when it worked. I don't know if this is public, but this is very interesting. This is one of the more interesting ones to me, that raises his credibility a little bit, because again, nobody knows about these things. So I wonder, There's no way to verify it. But it does sound like some things that we used to say back in Scarlet and Violet days. Like there was a huge theory about like when the flags were revealed in Scarlet and Violet, that there was going to be like a racing mini game throughout Paldea. That didn't happen. But this feels like a really similar theory to that. So this could be, totally made up or could not. The MMO-esque features is a big thing, but that was leaked in the Terra leak, actually. I love a lot of this, though, too, at the same time. If this stuff is real, it's really good. And bad at the same time. Nintendo has been pushing for NSO harder and harder with every passing year, trying to figure out which content offerings would expand the service, make it more appealing. As the mainline games transition to these MMO elements, maybe WiiWa Seed later on is meant to help NSO. This is speculation on their part, and I just don't know how NSO would ever connect to Pokemon, the Pokemon games. They already are not even connecting their, ports to it. But that's just speculation. That's just, I have a conversation with you, Kurwa, about it. I'm not a fan of form shifting gimmicks, but Majin is definitely one. Most of us assumed that already, but it wasn't confirmed. So this is also kind of fan stuff. And then Majin, or should I say Netsu, is obviously centered around weather, probably. I don't know what that actually says. And in a rare twist these days, also involves the main legendaries in both lore and gameplay as well. The box legendaries will have gimmick forms this time around, while Game Freak are ambitious. With regards to the Pokedex size this time around, designing form changes has inevitably slowed things down to an extent. I love the idea that the legendaries are getting gimmick forms. Like, I really hope this is real. I really hope that this is real. Capture the flag sounds fun. Shiny, I should have talked about that more, actually. This is amazing, these side quest things. Or, not side quest, mini games. They did have mini games in the DLC, right? They had some mini games in the not the Blueberry Academy. In the Teal Mask, they had a mini game. Oh, they did in the Blueberry Academy too with the Ditto block. So there's definitely something there as well. These are like typical ones though. Game Freak made some different ones. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm playing devil's advocate, okay? Which is my nature, to be very skeptical. Like, if you say something, I'm gonna be like, what's the other side of it? Ogre Oustin, yeah. And Ogre Oustin was its own thing. It wasn't just like a jet ski thing or, capture the flag. I'm thinking Ultra Sun and Moon had the like surfing Mantine. So they make up their own things. And I mean, maybe he's just generalizing here and they're more Pokemon-ified, right? And I'm sure that they are if these exist. But they do sound fun. And then the whole Majin thing with giving them to the box legendaries, it's fan stuff. I mean, if you were a fan, you could be like, oh, if there's gimmick forms, then the legendaries might get them. Though this is one that is a little more Game Freak to me, because fans wouldn't normally, they'd be like, the legendaries can't get a new gimmick form because they're the legendaries. They don't, you know what I mean? People think that Game Freak don't want to give the legendaries anything else because they're brand new designs. That's like the fan theory thing about it. So in a way, this is kind of contradicting fan theories. I will say that. But this person could just have the opposite opinion, like myself, because I think that it's possible to give legendaries gimmick forms. I'm trying to think of any legendary that ever had a gimmick form. I think only Kyurem, but that was in Black 2, White 2. Yeah, and he's a third legendary. I mean, I'm talking about Reshiram and Zekrom, obviously, but So this is interesting, but this is a way out for this man, okay, or woman. To be honest, I'm not entirely sure what the Pokedex really looks like. Naturally, a few new Pokemon were modeled in at all the builds. In all the builds I had access to, essentially everything was gleaned via context clues and discussion, like typing. To me, this and the whole, like, hold on, where is it? I'm not sure where it is, but he goes on later to say, like, he can't really access the Pokedex, like what they look like, because they're hidden to him. And I know from experience that, yes, they black out things. I mean, we can even see it in the Terra Leak. That's where we know it from. That they purposely leave things out so that it can't be leaked, essentially. Hooray for another SoulSilverArt content. What's up, young base dolphin? Yeah, but I like most legendary Pokemon today have new design changes in some way, so gimmick forms will be fine. Yeah, I mean, Rocky, you're right about Zamazenta and Zacian. They both got another form to them, and I mean, Koraidon and Miraidon got like 20 forms. You know, so I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. It's kind of similar. It's just not specifically like the gimmick form. You know, like, I guess Kyogre and Groudon did, but it's in a remake, so it's not the same. It's like in their debut, them getting a form is kind of wild to our minds. But maybe not. Maybe Game Freak sees it different, you know? Anyway, what I was saying is, you know, like, it's kind of, you know, very convenient that you can't look at the Pokemon or whatever. More so, I want to say, when you read through all this, you're like, how does this person have this information? It's weird. It's like, what can they see and what can't they see? It's not really computing to me personally. It's not adding up. Some of the mons were designated as special species with simulated form changes were... Okay, I understand. Arcanine, whatever, however you say it. I used to say Arcanine all the time. Until I started doing YouTube. Lucario again. This hurts. Kecleon, very cool. The rest I saw were placeholder mons. 7 of them. Okay, so I guess these had the names and these were just placeholders. Which the placeholders were Pikachu or Pikachu as well was one of the special species. I'm a little confused about this whole thing. Either way, I think that this whole thing, if it's real, they're placeholders. I don't know if you look back at Sword and Shield's like development stuff, you'll see like a bunch of Pokemon in there, the old ones. It doesn't necessarily mean that they were going to be in the game, that they're going to get forms, any of that. So this could literally just be placeholder stuff. Another huge part of this whole thing is we don't know how far back. I guess he does say like this is from the most recent build, but he hasn't said exactly when he saw this stuff. And we don't know how far back any of this goes. If this is information from other people, it might go far, far back, you know? And so we still have a year of development, kind of. I mean, this game was supposed to come out this year, so it was probably done at the beginning of the year. Well, not done, but because they had this whole year to work on it a little bit more and then ship it out, kind of thing, if it was coming out this year. And I'm coming to conclusions on my own as I'm doing this live, so I am answering some of my own questions. What's up, Moot? Is that you, Moot? Is that the real Moot? I think it is. Yo. Honestly, Kecleon getting something like a gimmick form would be interesting. I would love it. I think that's great. The specials are why the 300 plus new mons. Not sure. I mean, 7 of them doesn't take that many spots, but maybe there's even more than that, right? Yeah. What's up, bro? Anyone who actually has that level of information first Han cannot and would not be posting on the internet like this because they would get into huge legal trouble. I do wonder. That is a whole other thing about all this. I mean, we're in a different time of leaks, guys. I think I've had to come to terms with it. But you guys are younger than me. I don't know. Like, it's not 2021 anymore, unfortunately. In 2021, these people were afraid. They didn't care as much about Twitter. They wanted to keep their jobs. You know what I mean? They don't have any repercussions. These people can go on here and be completely anonymous and post something and not hear anything from the Pokemon company or anyone. I bet you this guy is not going to get in any trouble. Billy hasn't gotten in any trouble, and most people, I don't know, like me and you, regular people that are not as anonymous as these accounts, we'd probably get in trouble because they know who we are. But I don't know. There's something different about now. Nobody fears the consequences as much as they used to. So there's no reason to, riddle or whatever. And also the culture's changed. Like, people don't want riddles as much and all that. I do personally, but people just want the information flat out. And it's like, okay. Anyway. I wouldn't be surprised if he's fudging details and stuff to dodge suspicion. Possibly. That's also a good thing. Live this Saturday when I do Leaks or LARP Ultra Drama stream. Corey is direct proof that these big new leakers do not care. Yeah, they don't care a lot. So it's a thing. It's a thing. I just don't think that the Pokemon company actually goes after them as much. They just don't know who they are, even. I don't, in the company, they're like, who's the person that I'm looking out into the crowd and I'm like, who is it out of you? I know one of you are leaking. I don't know. But yeah, it's pretty bold anyway. And they don't use middlemen anymore. That's another thing too, is like, Ku was not a leaker himself. He had sources, and the sources would tell him, and he would leak for them. That almost doesn't happen these days as much right now. Like, this guy, he doesn't need anyone else. He's just doing it. And he's the direct source, apparently. And that's kind of wild. Usually someone like him would go to somebody else and be like, hey, this is what's happening. And then that person would leak it. I don't know. Things are a changing. Okay. Let me just finish up here. The testing build could end up being completely... Okay, I must reiterate that these are from a testing build and could end up being completely different from whatever information other leakers have. This stuff is sectioned off between divisions on purpose. This is a legitimate thing, for sure. Also, this is kind of another convenient excuse, but it is true. I've made this statement a million times as well. And I think that this is very realistic. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there was something else I wanted to say about it. I feel like there was, but I'll get back to it. I don't know what he was apologizing for here. I didn't actually understand a lot of this part. And the use of, I think this is Netsu, is pretty widespread throughout the game, as opposed to something like X and Y, where only a few trainers use it. I feel like this is something that kind of Ball Guy was hinting at before publicly as well. So I don't know about this one. This is talking about him getting a lot of followers, which is great. He says that this is fake, which is, this is Billy. So Billy trolling the world. But again, if he has not... Okay, so here, this is my point. Kurwa. If you haven't seen the decks, like what the Pokemon are themselves, then how do you know that this is fake? Do you know what I mean? This is where it's not connecting to me. Oh, he made a thread about Billy's collage riddle. Yeah, I never saw it. That was like right before I started looking at his stuff. And maybe that would have helped me with this whole thing. Because, yeah, that's the thing. It's like, this riddle's fake? Okay, but how do you know? Apparently Ball Guy told him it was fake. I mean, that's possible. That is possible, but I would hope that he would, I don't know, maybe say that somewhere. Because to me, it doesn't add up. Where it's like, if you just said you can't see the Pokemon themselves, and he says it, he reiterates that he can't see them. So how does he know that there's not a tree kangaroo, or a tapir, or this bunny? Like, I don't know. That's one thing. Anyway, you never know with Billy, because Billy's proven at this point. This guy not so much, so we don't actually know. This riddle could still be real, just saying. And that's a whole nother topic, but parts of it, like the Komodo, the lizard, let's say, is probably real. So there's gonna be a lot of Pokemon. Here we go. A lot of Pokemon introduced. So he was like slowly building up to revealing the big news. A region and mayor. Okay, everything's redacted in his build, apparently, or what he can access, and this makes sense too to me. But this is also a very convenient way of not answering it, which is fine, because this is very realistic in my opinion. Even this is a bit of an understatement. Okay, so here we go. To elaborate, the dex in the most current build is 531 slots, with 307 of them being placeholders, and thus new Pokemon species. This is crazy. This is the crazy news, right? I can't even follow Billy. Yeah, Billy's all over the place, but if you can somehow maneuver and manage what he's talking about, then you will know. We're like a whole team effort working on Billy stuff. There's some things that are just like obvious, and there's some things that are like obviously trolling, and then there's some things that are just nothing. We don't know. This was very sus. I was wondering if any of this can be confirmed or LARP. He's talking about Icy Boy's penguins. I guess ducks, actually. I'll have to look back. Give me a few minutes to see if I can match it up with some placeholders. So my guy's going into the documents as, like, live? I didn't know that this was possible. I mean, if you have it, you have it, I guess. I don't know the technical side of things, so I couldn't actually say. Then he says there's an ice psychic line that fits the bill. He doesn't outright confirm this, and I will go out and say, since we were talking about Billy, we can't totally trust this either. You don't know if Billy is actually trolling with all of us about this. He is currently Billy the Baiter, okay? I would take some things that he says with a grain of salt, unless we can, like, somehow... Usually when he posts about something, a lot of times, he will then reveal it later if it was false or not. So I'm kind of just waiting for that. This is also a crazy riddle, essentially. Because Billy did say, like, it was like a Psyduck line that got 3 evolutions. So there's a little ambiguity about if it's 2 separate, like a split evolution from Psyduck, that both of them are Psychic Ice. I would imagine it's just a line where it's like, oh, it's Psyduck and it evolves into a middle stage Psychic Ice and then a final stage Psychic Ice. That's kind of what everyone's assuming as well. But it's not confirmed. But we trust Icy Boy. I do trust Icy Boy. He's a leaker. Didn't you know? He's a leaker now. Yeah. Let's see. 400 followers. Shocking. So then he starts to, like, kind of get a little quiet here then. This one, people are like, this is something new, but it is not. This is, like, literally what is on the website. Inclement weather in the game serves as artificial barriers to your exploration, which can then be removed by progressing on the Legends Tour. Each victory empowers Konetsu, clearing out more obstacles in your path. Ball Guy said something about the little boy getting some energies, I think. I think he did. This one, I don't know if that's actually true. The last line might have been his Kurwa's own stuff, but I know that this whole barrier thing is, like, literally on the official website about you have to battle, or you have to, the forces of nature are blocking you and you have to get through the forces of nature to advance, essentially. Like, very, very to that. Armagin and Netsu the same. This is very similar to Ball Guy's, like, whole when he revealed the Netsu name, it was like Majin and Netsu are like the same thing. A lot of people came to that conclusion, which was like a month before this. But then the Dynamax and Gmax thing, you know, like that whole thing is speculation on fans' part, but he's confirming it. So I don't know. I mean, if he's true, then that's great. The voice acting thing's interesting because we know from Ball Guy that there should be some, but it could be cut. Anything could be cut. And then that's it. So, you guys tell me that I've broken this down for you in a certain way, in a skeptical lens. How much was actually there that, you know, was really new or shocking? I mean, the 300 Pokedex thing is the biggest news, but I can tell you that probably didn't come from this person. Maybe it did, but there was other people that knew or said things like that about this. Okay? So it doesn't make it exclusive to him. So or originate with him even. So that's the hardest part. So I'm not saying that what he said is not real and not true because he gives specific numbers and everything, but there's just, like I said at the beginning, there's no way to verify it. So I would just take everything with a grain of salt. I hope everything is totally real. Well, not everything, because I really am sad about Legends 3 if that's the case. I'm sad that, man, if it's Galar, I want it to be good, you know? Again, but the thing about that is his opinion on the game. So maybe it's a great game and maybe he doesn't like it. Fair enough. I probably won't like it either because I didn't like the other Legends games that much, but or like I liked Legends Arceus, but you know the premise thing. Let me just make sure. See if there was anything else. This music's probably getting a little annoying to you guys. I'm sorry. No, I think I went through pretty much everything. The exciting things are, like I said today, it's not Greece, Australia, or the West Coast. Gen 11, guys. Italy could be Italy. It could be Brazil. Could be somewhere in South America or Africa even. Could be Norway. Could be a lot of places, but it's none of the ones that fans want. I don't know, guys. Yeah, in my experience, leakers have never had the best opinions. Yeah, true. Everyone's got their own opinion, right? So like, one person's opinion might not be what we want to hear. Just to be clear, like the 3-stage Ice Psychic line in the build could not be a Psyduck as well. It could be something else, according to this person. Sorry, I keep forgetting his name, because he's so new. But you know, all he saw was the 3-stage Ice Psychic line, so it could be anything. Oh, Weewile will have side quests of some kind. There was also that. That is exciting. I'm hoping it's more like in-depth side quests, obviously. Not like Scarlet Violet have any. I don't actually remember if there was. Oh yeah, in the Blueberry Cat. I hope it's not like Blueberry Academy side quests. I never saw this whole thing. Weewile seemingly won't have any new Grass Steel Pokemon. I was gonna ask like my Discord about it because I do not remember him saying this, and I don't have any screenshots of that. But you know, apparently it's everywhere, so he must have said it at some point, which is kind of sad because Grass Steel is kind of cool. Weewile was delayed due to the game needing more time to avoid an SV-like launch, right? Design and construction teams have already moved on to the DLC, codename Zeus. This is also interesting. So a lot of the team has moved on to the DLC, and the main game is just done, which makes a lot of sense. Engineering team is still working on Weewile, try to fix any problems with the game alongside QA studios. Also makes sense. I don't think we will, if this stuff is real, until we get more news. I think you meant no. I wish World was going to show something, but I don't think they will. No, probably not. The game is currently going through significantly more time to playtest and debug. Yeah, this is laggy. Online play. Online play is going through some problems, especially since it's the largest tech innovation in the game. MMO-like features are in the game, and besides battle challenges. There are more mini games. WiiWa is aiming to run at 60 FPS, but the final decision hasn't been made. I think the MMO stuff is actually super cool. I think that is bigger than people are assuming. I think even Billy mentioned it, but I think that there might be some substantial MMO features. That's why it's saying that, because even Scarlet and Violet had that, like just MMO features. I think this is taking that to the next level, or it wouldn't be that extensive or whatever. I asked her about Ferrothorn cross-gen, and he said there's no grass steals. Okay. Did you ask him like in private though, or was that public? That's the question. Doesn't mean to know evos though. Maybe it's some other type of, I'm not sure what you mean on that. Like the context of it. Anyway, I guess I'll just look at Centro's really quick too, because he mentioned some other stuff that is more digestible, I suppose. We knew this already though about the weather forms, right? Pretty much. Okay, here it is. It's been described as MMO light. Very good. Very cool. I think it's more than what we're thinking. That's why he's stressing that point. Follow similar structure. Scarlet and Violet, we kind of already knew that. This is really cool concerning the 300 new Pokemon. This is related to that. The idea is for this generation to be the most personable yet. Remember all new Pokemon, to know them, to feel closer to them. Which we did kind of know some of this from the Terra leak as well. Which it supports it, because this is Billy, this is different. But it supports like all of the, you were able to like pet every single Pokemon at one point and ride every single Pokemon. So that is that whole idea, even if that was cut. The scope of the game already got reduced a lot since the initial pitch. It will still be very ambitious. Totally. Which is normal of every Pokemon game. Like we've seen, just look at ZA. It was so ambitious. There was so much stuff that they wanted to do and it was cut back a lot. But this game will still have a lot because it's had 5 years of development time. This is all the other stuff that we have already read. He also, just so you know, Kurwa does say that the DLC is codename Zeus, which came from Ball Guy again. So the Evo Ferrothorn. Okay, cool. What's up, Mark? Yo, 300 Pokemon is crazy. Yes, if it exists. If it exists indeed. My whole point in all of this, guys, really is just to take it all with a grain of salt and not just run away with it. Because I mean, you know, you see Dextero posting about the Psyducks, and I'm just see Billy like in the back, like scheming and laughing, you know, about how he got everyone, you know. And I know we're not talking about Billy as much, but I'm just saying, like, that's kind of where we're at, you know. If you're gonna say if you're Dextero and you're gonna like literally post about these Pokemon rumors and say that they're leaks, you know, it's like yeah, Kurwa said that there was a side quest system board. There are other like screen caps that I have, but I don't have them on my PC right now, so I can't show them. But yes, he said a few other things that haven't been covered yet. Also, Billy was saying some other stuff about like traversal in the game, and I'm gonna post about that tomorrow on Twitter, and then maybe I'll talk about it on the podcast as well, because that was interesting. But yeah, there were a few other things that Kurwa said. I don't know if I'm even saying his name right, but yeah, so all of that to say, take it with a grain of salt. 300 Pokemon, let's talk about that. I am beyond hype for that. Let me get rid of these docs really quick as well. I think that having 300 Pokemon, and I'm going to do a post about this tonight as well. 300 Pokemon is like the dream. Now, how could the 300 Pokemon actually be in the game? I don't think that there will be 307 Pokemon exactly at launch of this game. This is my own personal speculation, right? I think that personally, that information could be old information. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not old at all. And there are 300. But if it is old, then those Pokemon could be cut. And even if it isn't old, they could still be cut. If you think about how many times, now that we've seen Terra Leak information, things have been cut, it's like they could cut Pokemon right up to the last minute. And the last minute would have to be sometime early next year to like when they're going to send... hold on, I got to actually think about what I'm doing as well. Let's leave Voltorb in. Like, they can cut things up until they're about to send the game out, essentially, to be produced, you know? So anything's possible to be cut. They could probably have that many right now, and that's it. But I do think that the plan is to have way more Pokemon. I think that's the biggest takeaway from the big number of Pokemon, is that they are trying to have a lot of Pokemon in this game. Like, new ones, I mean. It does seem like some kind of black and white situation. What am I battling? Let's go to Charmeleon. So Billy and Ball Guy are credible, and the new Kura person is credible, but what about Poke Leaker? I would say they were credible too, but if someone can correct me, I'm wrong. I would say that only Ball Guy and Billy half the time is credible. Billy is 100% credible, but he puts out a lot of fake stuff on purpose. Ball Guy instead, I think, is very credible. And when I mean credible, that's like 85% accuracy. That's what I would say, because there's always room for things to change, and there's always room for things to be wrong. There's human error happens as well. But the other two, Kurwa is not credible. I don't want to say that like that. I just think it's unknown. Like, it's unknown if we can trust them yet. If he posts a picture of something, that might get crazy. I don't recommend to do that, Kurwa, if you're watching this. But if we can verify some of his information, so I just choked on my own spit. If we can verify some of his information somehow with other real leaks, then he might become very, what's the word? Credible. I'm not saying he is or isn't, basically. We don't know. Going back to the 300 Pokemon, I think there's a possibility that some are cut, first. Second, I think that... Oh, dang, he's still asleep. I think that some of them will be for the DLC. Unless there's no DLC... No, there is DLC. We have it confirmed that there is. Unless there's no new Pokemon introduced in the DLC. Let's say that. It's possible that, who knows, maybe they don't actually, you know, give us new Pokemon because they gave us so many in the base game. I think that kind of would be fair, in my opinion. You know, like, if they gave us 300 Pokemon, it's not like we're going to be able to use them all. So, you know, release the DLC, give more forms maybe in the DLC, and don't give any new Pokemon. To me, that seems like a legitimate thing if there's really 300 at launch. If not, I think some of those would be in the DLC. I don't see why they wouldn't do that. But, oh, also to answer your question, since you guys are talking about it in the chat, that other account, the last one that you mentioned, Pokey, I don't think that they're credible at all. I don't know for sure, but they're literally the same thing. Like, everyone are these, like, quote-unquote LARP accounts, I guess. Like, unfortunately, there's nothing really that sets Kurwa apart other than he's using real stuff, apparently, or saying real stuff, along with the stuff that we have never heard about, if that makes sense. Whereas the other accounts are just making stuff up like the most random stuff. And who knows, maybe they're real too. We just genuinely do not know and have not been able to confirm any of them. Gosh, this is a very annoying thing that happened in this game. So going back to the 300, it's funny, I'm thinking about the movie. Like I said, the DLC and the cut mons. So I think that in the end we end up with a lot of Pokemon, but I do think that it won't be exactly that much. If it is, I'll be shocked and excited. The point of me continually bringing it up is like, it's some of the best news ever to me. I want that many Pokemon so badly. I don't know about you guys, but I freaking... Pokemon is about Pokemon to me, and that's all I've ever wanted. And I want to say, like, there's so much extra time that they had. It makes sense that there would be that many Pokemon. Like, we haven't had a new generation in 5 years. So why not go out with a bang? And also, it's the 10th generation and the 30th anniversary. Like, to me, it's everything. It's what I posted earlier today. They could be, like, planning this amazing... Now, I might overhype this, but they could be planning this amazing 30th anniversary promotional cycle. You know what I mean? With tons of promo. They reveal like 5 Pokemon in one trailer. I don't want them to do that. I'd rather like 2 Pokemon a trailer and have a trailer like every month. That's my ideal thing. Like, if it's actually 300 Pokemon, could we get new Pokemon reveal every month next year? Yeah, literally what I was saying. No, Voltorb! Crap! I'm fighting a freaking gym leader right now. Voltorb, no! But yeah, like, he was saying Nintendo is putting a lot of pressure on them to put things out, but also make it very well done. And Nintendo will delay things. So, to me, it does feel like maybe, you know, some other things will be delayed as well now that Weewa was delayed. I was more so hoping that Game Freak would be Game Freak and they'd be like, well, I guess the Pokemon Company would be the Pokemon Company, and they would be like, we want to still stick to our schedule as much as possible and try to get out Weewa sooner and get out Legends 3 in the year that we had planned, which was 2027. No, 2028. Yeah, 2028. Right? Yes, 2028. But it might be 2029 now. So who said this? Kurwa said all that stuff. I'm paraphrasing, though. That's another thing. Like, a lot of the recaps, like I said, they're like telephone game at this point. A lot of them don't actually... aren't the actual exact words of the person. Which is fine, but it also does leave us with some... what's the word? Ambiguity. Sounds like fanfic, I'm not gonna lie. It does, especially if you like, if you really just listen to it and don't get kind of hype about it, and you like, it really just depends on how you look at it, right? Dang, this was the easiest gym ever. I'm so sorry. This was the easiest gym ever. I could talk to you guys the whole time. That's why I did this gym, because it was just that easy that I could actually talk leaks at the same exact time. Icy, see you later, friend. Actually, let's talk a little bit about the Psyducks. That is one of the most disappointing things, if true. I love Golduck, and I want Golduck to get freaking stuff. I want Golduck to get an evolution. I want Golduck to get a power-up. Though Golduck is perfect already, I will say. So I'm not so mad. But I am mad that it would get... Psyduck will get 2 new evolutions. You want to evolve Eevee ASAP. Okay, good. That's good. Then I did. I did the right thing. Goodbye, though, Icy. I don't want... Like, I don't even understand how they could do 2 evolutions for Psyduck. Like, do we really need a middle stage? I guess... because we get 300 Pokemon, we get random middle stages. I guess people would be concerned about getting Pawmo, and Pawmi situation again with all these Pokemon. But honestly, I don't care as long as we have a lot of them. It's like there's so many to choose from that it won't even matter. It really won't even matter. With the recent leaks, do we still know nothing about what the legendaries looks like? Horses, Naga, Garuda? We don't know anything because apparently this person cannot look at the actual Pokemon, which to me, I think that that's a blessing, guys. I do not know if you want all 300 Pokemon freaking revealed right now, but I don't want to get, I want to have a freaking, oh man, this is the bad side about this, okay? I really hope, Kerwa, if you're listening, bro, be kind to us. If you're a real leaker, please don't leak every single Pokemon before they even start the promotional cycle, because I will be distraught. Do you understand what we're talking about, guys? We're talking about leaking the entire Pokédex before they even release a trailer revealing a single new Pokemon outside of the starters. That would be so painful. That would probably ruin Gen 10 for me in a lot of ways, but at the same time, no, because I'd be happy with having Pokemon. It's just, yeah, he's not gonna reveal them like picture-wise. Just, you know, he's gonna describe them, and please, no, please, just not that. That would be the worst case scenario. I'm sorry, guys. I know you guys like leaks and all that. You're here for the leaks, but there's a line for me where leaks get bad, and that's the line. that's it. When everything is leaked before they can even hype us up, then there's no hype. Then we're gonna get 2 years of no hype. At least next year, I'm thinking like once the hype begins. I was happy that there was kind of no leakers, because I'm like, well, Billy was going to probably do the same thing, but in a way, Billy's only gonna do trailer ones. So, you know, it's the situation, and it's the situation that we're in. But I was happy to like kind of not know the Pokemon and get hype about Gen 10, you know? And I'm dooming right now because none of this has actually happened, but I'm afraid. If I had to play devil's advocate, I want leaks on Mons instead of the story if I had to choose which would drop. I mean, Sora, a lot of the story is actually already leaked. It's just subject to change. The thing is, this guy seems like he does have the story as well, but I think that he's enough of a Pokemon fan to not want to leak the story to people. So I do think that that is a thing. He seems like a really level-headed person, but leakers are rarely very level-headed. I would glaze Game Freak if we got 300. Me too. I want it. I want that badly. Another thing about it, though, like negative, is we will be spoiled forever because of that. Think about it. Wait, why did I... Like, we'll be spoiled forever. We'll never get 300 again. You know, like, they're not going to do 300 every time. Can I actually... No, there's a key in here. Maybe I can't play this game at the same time, to be honest. Just because there's 300 placeholder Pokemon Company doesn't need to use them all. That's true, but don't believe Light, bro. Light stuff is so... I don't even know what to say. The thing is, the map is so big too. Yeah, it actually needs new mons for sure. I really hope the regional side I can Golduck is real. Sounds awesome. Yeah, I've got my doubts. I've got some big doubts about that one, but I'm so hyped for Weewa, but then remember it's winter. Yeah, but bro, if we get 300 Pokemon, you're gonna be like, who cares? Why is Onix and Houndoom getting regional Evos, bro? I don't know if they will be regional evolutions. I don't know if they will even be a thing. Okay, so we need to get into it. I just wanted to like do like a freaking battle as well. Where did we leave off, guys? Okay, so I want to start this whole thing by saying I went pretty hard last stream about how this dude might not be the real deal. But I want to say I could be wrong. I really need to say that everything I said last time and what I'm going to say this time could totally be wrong. I don't actually know some things. And this dude could be totally legit. Now, with that being said, I don't think he's legit. Right now, I don't. I don't know. I want to preface the whole thing by saying I cannot, like, stress enough that it's nothing to attack the actual person. It's just we're validating his info. We're trying to see if his info is actually correct and like what each piece of info actually means. I don't know what you meant, Vex, there with the following thing. This is original Lumi. Lumi has been pretty quiet too. Maybe it's him. Maybe it's him. What if you heard Soul because you could end him? No, I could not. If I could, I probably would have. It's not. I'm not trying to end people, first of all, but I am trying to like make sure that it's some is real information. Like if this is real, then it changes a lot of stuff, you know. But so far we cannot confirm still if this is real life or not. Is this real life? Okay, first of all, he pops up yesterday with this. I started last stream. I was like, it's kind of sus that he hasn't spoken again since the whole like debacle. Well, here he is. But this is sus. I'm posting this on my lunch break. Feel free to ask questions below to this post. I'll try to get to all of them after work in a few hours. Okay, never mind. He does say that he does it after work. I thought maybe he was doing all of this in his lunch break, and I was like, that's weird. Scratch that. First of all, this. Give it to me straight, doctor. What's it looking like on Tropius getting anything new? He just says son with this meme. Actually, you know what? I should be looking at the replies part of his, here we are. Because it gives us an even deeper look. So yeah, I mean, how do we feel about no Tropius? If this dude is legit, how do we feel about no Tropius? To me, this is something someone can easily say, and you can't prove it or not prove it. But I do think it's in the realm of possibility that Tropius doesn't get anything because it's so like obvious, and Game Freak doesn't do that. Do you know what I mean? So to me, this is actually plausible. And I don't actually mind either because I'm not a big fan of Tropius, so I don't care. I'd rather go to a different Pokemon anyway. That's not important. With this, he said this as a bit of a meme. I can't know for sure as I do not have access to the new Pokemon designs, but there's no placeholders after Tropius to indicate a new evolution. The same goes for the evolutions. So this is what this whole night was basically based on. There's basically nothing after them, so it kind of makes sense that there would be nothing. But if you look at Homeboy's like other stuff that we went over last time, just about how there's still a lot subject to change, you know, I'm pretty sure he goes in detail. I don't have access to proper new models of designs yet, but I've been told the entire, okay, that's that. There's a lot of times where he's like, don't really focus on this because we don't actually know. I don't actually know. I can't tell. I can't find it, but it's probably further down there. I've loved Tropius since it came out. Hate that it's being nerfed. I mean, nerfed, but I don't know. Vex, where do you see that? Like in my chat? Or one of his replies? I didn't even see it. That's hilarious. Okay, we're back. So anyway, he also says the same about evolutions, and I do want to push back on the evolutions thing a little bit. I think that they're such important Pokemon that they wouldn't just easily be there, like ready to be found. So I think that there's still a chance for evolutions if this is all legit, of course. So I wouldn't give up hope yet on that. But again, I'm happy. I don't actually like evolutions that much. So I'm like, give it to somebody else. I don't care. My problem is when they don't give enough out. Like, if we're really talking about 300 Pokemon, There better be a lot of cross-gen evolutions. I think there should be a lot. I don't think there should be like just the normal 5 that there was in Scarlet and Violet, you know? So, counterpoint, soul evolutions are so important that it would make sense to have them in their earlier builds than later. Yes, but also, I don't know. I've heard that like things like starters and legendaries and evolutions maybe are like the last thing that people like this could find out, because they like guard them so heavily. I don't know. That's what I've heard, but I don't know if that's actually true or not. Okay, so I'm curious about what POIs in the world, those points of interest in the world. My personal wish is underwater shipwrecks. Seen anything like that? This is a sus question. There are multiple. So there's multiple places of interest. Also, there are other sorts of underwater locales, such as the Neon Abyss, which we know of, Glimwood Tangle style coral reef, sure, and cave systems. Again, from last time, he bases it off of something we already know. Like, if you want to give us something, he doesn't confirm that there's underwater shipwrecks. I know it sounds like that, but he confirms that there are multiple places of interest in the world. You know, maybe he did mean there's multiple shipwrecks. You could look at it that way, but I don't know if that's what he's saying. He's just saying there are multiple. And then he goes on to say there's underwater places like Neon Abyss, which we already know. Sounds a bit, you know, I don't know. The game is ambitious and clearly fun to play. Oh, sorry, do you like Weeba? That's the question. Fun to play, but the current state of optimization and errors makes me weary. Or wary. I'm sure that this will get all fixed. This is a opinion-based thing, so it's not really doing anything for his credibility anyway. I'm going to try to talk to the chat a little bit too, you guys, but mostly I'm trying to cover this and then we can chat. Is there something mechanic? Is there a soaring mechanic, or is it just deep diving? This is a good question. Yes, the scooter gains small wings that extend out from it. There are areas you can only reach through soaring flying. This is huge, but this is also a few days prior to this. Billy, who has now deactivated, he literally was talking about Tears of the Kingdom. I'm going to make a tweet about this whole thing, but he was talking about Weewa being Tears of the Kingdom. He posted a thing being like traveling in Weewa is like going up and down, like 2 days before this, okay? If Kurwa is very much paying attention to everything. So if he saw Billy's post, he could easily just make something off of this. We have not seen in the Terra League any time where the scooter gains wings, small wings. And why would it gain wings when it's the Pokemon flying you? So there's some stuff there. Billy deactivated. Thank you, God. He did. There is a whole debacle with Billy and some other people. But I wasn't a part of that at all. I don't even know really what happened. I just was like, I can't deal with this. I'd prefer new Charcadet Evos to Evolutions. Yes, me too. Shiny's in the overworld? Yep, Shiny Sound is back as well. Again, very... I don't know. This... Maybe I'm being too... Maybe I'm being too hard on this person. Like, I'm being too critical. Too skeptical. Because this is new information. It is answering the question. It's just I'm so doubtful of this person that I'm also like, anyone can say that. But if it's true, it's true. I mean, what can I say? Oh, Icy has said that there is a scooter model with the wings too. Cool. I mean, that again just makes this... I don't know if it makes it less credible or more credible. You know what I mean? Because if you know that, then somebody else knows that too, Icy. You know, like, I just think that this person could have real information. But I'm wondering, is he actually the leaker he says he is, or is the information coming from somewhere and he's building off of that. And so some of these things could just be guesses or false or, you know, built around it. And I mean, we're only going to know once something is undeniably true, or he comes out with it, or he posts something that's real, you know. I mean, like an image. Let's see. This is a great question. Are the Wind Temple and Wave Temple different individual locations, or are they the same location, just different names based on versions? Individual locations. Both legendaries are in both games and play a role in the story similar to Black White. This we knew from Ball Guy. Ball Guy has said that the champion has one of the other legendary, has the other legendary opposite to you. So yes, the other legendary is in the other game, is in your game as well. What we don't know was the Wind and Wave Temple being individual locations. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, made up stuff, possibly, paired with stuff that we've heard publicly. Yami, what's up? How are you doing? The pessimism is required at this point when reading potential leaks. A lot of this info could be solid, but just sounds very safe leaks. Exactly, Gendy. I'm just trying to make like a catalog of that in a sense and show you that he's not really giving us like a whole bunch of new information either way. And I'm not mad about that. I don't want a lot of information, to be honest. What's up, Sora? Welcome back. You guys tell me when the music's getting annoying. I'm gonna eat, be right back. No, don't do that. I got only not too much time to go. Like born on screen are easy yeses, not some leak info. Born on screen, I don't know what that is. Cool. I'm just gonna let it go all the way down. So did you know that we were gonna get 300 potential mons? That's all I'm gonna say about that. Any reason why you're not trusting him? Is this your reason? It's kind of sus. Answering questions normally is a red flag. Yeah, I'm not trusting him because I just continually every day that this stuff has gone on, I'm like, this is sus. Like, everything is sus. And usually I'm either like, no, this is totally nothing because it's clear, or I'm like, this is real, watch out, hey, you know, maybe this could be real. To me, this is in the middle. It's very much in the middle, and every time that he is going to answer something is another like, either it's bad or it's good for his like credibility. So I was waiting for him to start saying more things because it would tell us more about if he's actually legit or not. And right now, I mean, I was so confused. I'm still very confused about everything, but he could be legit. But right now I'm like, I don't think so, really. But he's a very nice person. I've spoken with him a little bit, and he wouldn't even be upset about me saying these things, and I really appreciate that. Because again, I'm not trying to attack the person. I think if this person is someone that I know and is just like doing this whole thing, I will be like, well played. Very well played, because you had most of us just like really believing this and thinking, you know, that it's all totally real, and it could totally be real. Again, I could be wrong. I could be wrong about this whole thing. This isn't, oh, let's see. Are they based on Garuda and Naga? What does the third legendary look like? This is about the legendaries, obviously. This is an answer for essentially all design questions. I do not have access to new Pokemon designs. The new Pokemon are in the game, but replaced with other older Pokemon models. Okay. This is important for like what he says later. Older is an old species, yes. This is an easy way out, of course. So this is from Pokemon League, who I have blocked and he has blocked me, but I gotta keep up with the chat. Thanks, I'm not upset at all. Rocky, if it's you, I'm gonna scream. What's up, Aster? Welcome. So it could go either way. Yes, Jorah, it could go either way for sure. I'll admit my bias. The potential Evos, the leak mentioned like Onyx and Houndour would actually be mons I would insanely hyped for. I'm the opposite, Gendy. I don't want. I'm like, are we serious? Have you guys seen my tweets? I've said like a million types of Evos that could be in this game that make so much sense in this game and need something, and they're gonna give it to freaking Houndour? No, bro. They're gonna give it to Onyx? I don't know. I'm biased the other way. Scream louder than the high-pitched tune in the music right now. Okay, I'm gonna change it then. Thank you for my bone pup soul. They've never been good. I'm hoping to teach an old dog some new tricks. Yeah, but Houndoom is not gonna get anything. Houndoom's gonna be terrible. Still, like, I don't know. I don't know what they could do either. Soul, Gen 11. Yeah, Gen 11, Mike, it could be Italy. Could be. Could be a lot of other places too. But it isn't probably, if this dude is legit, it's not Australia, which is kind of a sad one. But I never expected it after this. Like, we're too close to it right now. Not the US or Mexico. And what was the last one? What was the last one that people kept saying? Australia? Oh my gosh, I can't remember. Anyway. Could still be a lot of other places in the world. But Italy, who knows? What's up, Bingus? I think my biggest issue with is split Evos are just going to be worse than cross-gen Evos would have been, so it's like a waste. That's a whole nother thing, Bingus, that I definitely want to point out. Oh yeah, Greece was the one that it can't be, which I'm okay with too. I think this Winds and Waves might be very Greek-based. I was thinking about the Houndour thing, and like he could maybe evolve into like a three-headed, you know, Cerberus thing, and it'd be Greek-based. Because I still haven't thrown out the Greek stuff. I don't know if you guys know, but Mount Olympus was actually like a code name for a mountain in the Terra Leak information of Winds and Waves. So that exists. Not to mention Gaia and Zeus. So of course Pokemon Leak wants to know like about the Pokemon, so he can leak it all. He actually started all this madness, which of course he did. So he asked, you know, do you have names then about the Pokemon? And he says, no names, just code names. Yes to stats, no to abilities. There's old abilities that some of the ability allocations aren't accurate, but there aren't any new abilities in it. Battles are quite fun. Netsu is in its current form is pretty complex. Okay. Like, okay. Nothing really here. Nothing really there. I mean, sure, it's fun. But, bro, not that I want him to explain Netsu, but even in his older stuff where he talks about weather forms, like, it's very vague, weather forms. Like, you could explain, like, what a weather form is. I don't know what that is. Nobody knows what that is. He doesn't really go into any kind of explanation about what in the world the gimmick is, and maybe he wants to hold back. I want him to hold back, to be honest. I don't want him to be like, oh yeah, the gimmick's all this, because then we will know everything about this game before the first trailer, and I really don't love that. But at the same time, it just seems like he's just using words that are not really explaining much. Do you know what I mean? Like, not giving any credibility to what he's saying. You know, I could go on there and say weather forms for these Pokemon. You know, like, what is a weather form? Are walking Pokemon returning, or do they follow you on the scooter? This is weird. This is weird. Our Pokemon do follow you, he says, but on the scooter. I personally cannot see a world where there would be Pokemon following you on the scooter. The Pokemon are pulling you. So you have a Pokemon pulling you on the scooter, but then he's saying that one follows you as well. Seems like, I don't know why they would do that. Do you know what I mean? So this might have been like a little slip up here. But he is also saying Pokemon do follow you. He's not actually responding to do they follow you on the scooter. So maybe they just follow you in the overworld, and sure, that's an easy guess. I'm trying to think of Scarlet and Violet. They didn't follow you in Scarlet and Violet, but they did in ZA, so it's not impossible here. Can you tell us how many cross-gen evolutions there are? And if you don't mind, could you reveal one of them? Lucky Luke. Love the question because he only asked for one instead of like all of them. But, you know, the hunger is never satisfied for Pokemon fans. Again, impossible to say. So, Kerwa does not confirm even the ones that he confirmed last night. Every time he's like, it could be different still, guys. Don't go too crazy. This is like me on his side, you know. He says, I believe Salandit gets one, as well as the fun regional Psyduck riddle from Icy Boy, but I can't really know for sure. Can't know for sure. Which I appreciate. But then you think, wait, you just said that Tropius doesn't have one. So Tropius doesn't have a block or a slot behind it. But you don't know if Salandit doesn't have a slot behind it? Do you know what I mean? It's like, okay, Tropius doesn't have the slot behind it to reference that it's getting an evolution. So go look at Salandit. Does Salandit have the slot behind it? You know? That's where it was a little sus. And then someone I don't know asked that same question essentially. Could you not check for the blank slot after an existing Pokemon and see if they have a matching type? What I was saying is I didn't want to ask him this question kind of. To like try to, because if he had gone with that, that would have eventually maybe led to finding out if he's actually legit or not. I don't know if that makes sense, but to me it does. What else does he say? Also, CrossGen Evo's code name would indicate if it's an evolution or not. For example, Annihilate was Mankey 3 in Japanese. And he says, let me take a look, okay? What's at the time? 5:39, right? PM. He says, let me take a look. Which is already sus in itself to me. Like, I don't know how this man... He's not a tester. Like, he's not testing. If he's legit, he's not someone that goes to the office and tests the games. Like, he has access to this somehow. And that is rare. That's like... Billy had stuff like that, but this guy, a second Billy is what we're looking at here, and that is super rare to me. I don't know, maybe times are changing, but that's a whole nother thing. It's like, how does he go in and out of the stuff? Like, what is his job? You know, I mean, I don't know, and he hasn't said. So, yeah, it's just another sus point to me. Cool. So he says, let me take a look at 5:39. He comes back with the answer at 5:56. So it was a while. And this is the big news, right? A few slots are named in the sense that someone I don't know had said before. I'm not sure whether that actually translates to new Evos or not. Again, he is still not confirming it, even though everyone else is confirming this, because this is how they normally do things. The thing is, he knows more than us, okay? He would know more than us, okay? It's not... He might sound like he's playing dumb a little bit, but he would know more than us about these things. So he's not actually sure if it translates to Evos or not. The supposed Psyduck line isn't named like that, I think is what he meant to say. For example, some may be hidden, ? I'll post some translated anyways. This whole thing sounds very much like 4chan, like I'm trying to respond to you in a very vague, weird way. Like, let me do this anyway, you know? Because come to find out that these names might have been circling around before this guy ever showed up on the scene. So again, we have the same issue again. The same with the 300 Pokemon thing. This might not come from him directly. This might come from other people. So while the information might be real, it might not have come from him. And also the like amount of time he took to do the two things might have just been like a little like, let me wait this amount of time so it seems like I'm doing something and come back. I don't know. Anyway, to look at the information, this one's Onyx 2. This one's Houndour 2. This one is I think this one is Salandit 2. And then, or maybe it's the other way around. And this one is Dino, or Dino, however you guys say it. 3. Yeah, because it's 3. So this one's Dino 3. So very interesting group. I don't really love it. I like Salandit a lot. Salandit is cool. But there's some stuff going on with this that is very sus that I can't mention right now, okay? Salandit, I have said before on Hidden Power Podcast months ago when Ball Guy originally posted the like Poison Dragon thing, I had said on Hidden Power that I think it could be a Salandit Evo. And it's not a hard conclusion to come to, even if you hadn't heard that from me or anyone else. Because I'm sure someone else had the same idea. Like, oh, it could be a Salandit evolution. The Ball Guy leak specifically. So that one's a little weird. And then it's very weird to have, you know, Dino and Houndour and Onyx. I could see Onyx because it's beloved. It's Gen 1, you know? Turtle Stew, it's because there's some stuff that I can't mention. I'm not at liberty to say. And I am telling you right now that this is sus. But the information, this information should be legitimate. Anyway. I'm trying to think. I think there could be reasons for Onyx. There's tons of snakes in the region. Yoridon on Twitter was making a good case for Houndour getting some stuff. So I'm like, okay, I could see it. But to me, like I said, it's like, what about Lediant? What about, I don't know, Love Disc? You know, what about the Pokemon that need an evolution? You know what I mean? So it's a bit sus. And I also want to say, like, I don't think that this is the whole list of cross-gen evolutions. I think he went and looked really quick, and at 300 Pokemon within that amount of time, he could have, but I have my doubts about this being all of them if this is true, you know? Which he does later add more to them, in a sense. So already very sus. Already very sus. So that's a whole bunch of stuff. Which that's it. That's really it. I gotta head out. So that's the end of the question and answering time. Rest assured, I'll be back sooner or later. Pretty much at the limit of what I'm ready to discuss as of now. Some things haven't been finalized yet. Again, they haven't been finalized. Palkia, our Pearl enthusiast, asked about if there's a Sunflora evolution because he loves Sunflora, and Kurwa says no. I mean, again, I don't know. Did he go look specifically at it, or does he just know off the top of his head? How quick does he answer this? From 613 to 616. It took him 30 minutes to get the other ones. Okay? It took him 30 minutes to get the other evolutions down. 4 of them. See what I mean, though? That was like 2 seconds with him. Did he go just check right and see if Sunflora was there? Or did he actually remember, oh, Sunflora, I didn't see that just then. Was he specific? I wouldn't specifically be looking for Sunflora. Again, I just want to make sense about this. Sunflora would make so much sense to get a cross-gen evolution because it needs something. Unlike freaking Zweilous, who evolves into Hydreigon, who is not only is a pseudo-legendary, also has the Iron Jugulus variant now. So it's like he'd be getting a whole nother variant. I don't even know. There's multiple things. You get like Onyx that has Steelix that also has a Mega. You know, Steelix was a cross-gen evolution already. You know, so, but Soul isn't Hydreigon popular. They might want to fix their disappointing design in Iron Jugulus. Maybe, but I don't know. I think it's not out of the realm of possibility. 100%. Not out of the realm. They do that stuff all the time. Like Turtle Stew is saying right now. Like they literally just gave Hydrapple and, well, I guess not Hydrapple, but Applin and what's his face, Duraludon, stuff as well, you know. So that's a bit sus. It's a bit sus again. I wish I could just be like, no, this is totally legit, but yeah. And then I go to make this theory because I was like, I better, after he starts dropping cross-gen evolutions, I'm like, I better drop my theories about cross-gen evolutions before he destroys them all and I can't post any of them. So I just was like, I'm gonna post this really quick because I had this already written up for like the next day, and I was like, I better drop this one since I already wrote it and all that. I just go into detail that, you know how Luminion and Lantern, they could be Pokemon that get evolutions because of the Neon Abyss area. Well, I was like, wait, these two are deep sea fish as well. They really could get something as well. And so they're my third option. I thought they were the less likely option. Then this guy comes out and says, ho, 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 ho. I feel like I've heard oh, ho, 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 ho before, by the way. Good eye. Would take a look at Nincada's line as well. So, again, he just pulls more out of nowhere. Without checking. Like he did last time. So maybe he had just pulled up all of them here and only posted these 4. I don't know. Or maybe he just means something different about them, like they get regional forms or something, you know? But to me, I'm like, the Clamperl post was amazing, Soul. Thanks, Gendy. Huntail is so goofy. I love him. I actually have been loving Huntail a lot more lately. But this thing is crazy. It looks like just like it. And then after he just dipped, he says, yeah, I think that's enough to simmer on for now, barring extenuating circumstances. This account won't post DM again for a few months. The goal isn't to become a celebrity or whatever, so it's okay if you wish to unfollow. See you guys soon. Which I respect. I do respect, but, and I really respect that he only does like a little drop and then, you know, leaves. I like that. I like, if he's going to do things in the future like that, I'm down. You know, it's fun. You know, they're not giving us freaking Winds and Waves until 2027, so I'm okay with some leaks happening. I'm just not okay with, like, if he's going to come on and be like, the whole dex, here you go, and a description for every Pokemon, I'm just going to lose my mind. Like, maybe even before we get a single trailer, before Pokemon Day 2027. But I don't think he's like that. Like I just said, he reserved himself and said, I'm going to go, and I'm going to come back later. That's the positive. The negative side is this. After the last 2 streams that I've done with you guys, the amount of information that he gave us that wasn't known prior to his appearance on the internet is like this much. It's like 80% of everything that he said. And then there's like this much that was specific to him that no one had ever heard before. And when I say no one, I don't mean like the public. I mean, no leakers had ever heard it before, but also the public. So it's a bit sus to use up all of that information and be like, you know what? Actually, I think I've reached the limit of what I want to share or what I know. I'm just going to go now. And return months from now when people like Ball Guy or Billy have said more things so that I can use those more things and build off of them. months from now, because in the months ahead, Ball Guy and possibly Billy will post some stuff, some more leaks, and he'll come back and be like, oh yeah, Ball Guy's right about this. Do you know what I'm saying? This is the biggest red flag of the whole thing. Not that he's leaving, just that there wasn't more, and that it was just like the exact limit of what people kind of know, like behind the scenes. So I'm on to you, Kerwa. I'm on to you. No hard feelings at all. I'm just trying. I don't want to be the one that's duped, man. I don't want to be the one that's duped. I think that's projection. Yeah, it could be. Turtle Stew, it really could be. I'm projecting a lot on this whole thing. I fully admit, and I will humbly say I was wrong if I'm wrong about a lot of this stuff. I'm just trying to put it in a skeptical viewpoint as well. Like, I'm very much tearing this apart to play devil's advocate for the whole thing. On the flip side, this could all be totally real. It could all be lining up with what people know behind the scenes because it's just real information. Of course it would line up. If it's real, then it would line up with the real information that we already know. So I'm not like against him being real at all. I just want to know, as most of you do as well. And I'm really glad that he's like stopping here as well too. Like I said, we'll see if he actually does stop. I feel like once any person that does this gets a little taste of it. I remember talking to Billy a little bit at the beginning, and he's like, I don't want to do this. I'm not a leaker. All that kind of stuff. Okay? They get a taste. And then they're like, you know what? I haven't posted to Twitter like I just was. It was so much fun for me to do that. I don't blame him. It's fun. Like, I should post to Twitter again. So we'll see if he comes back sooner than what he says too. And that would be a green flag in my opinion, because he would have to have more information that we haven't heard about. And I mean me specifically, because maybe there's other people out there that have heard way more than me. You know, I don't know everything at all. So do you know what Kerwa means in Polish? No, I don't, but apparently it's something bad. Hopefully I don't get demonetized for saying his name 20 million times. So, anywho. It's been fun. It's been a good time. I think that this was a good little leak session with him. I really do. It is kind of sus that his name is a slur, by the way. I mean, people do that, I guess, but you would think you would want to be something more than caca. My fears, again, are just the same as last time. And I've said it already. I'm just afraid that this ruins all of Winds and Waves promotional hype cycle. Like, yeah, I don't know. We're in the leak community, but there's people, the majority of Pokemon fans are not in the leak community, and something this big, like the cross-gen evolutions, especially when Centro posts about it, reaches everyone. There's no way that people that don't want to be spoiled don't see this stuff, unless they're prepared to not. I think they just think it's all rumors, which it is. So they're not like actually believing it. What hype cycle? There will be one after February 2027. I'm sure of it. Will it be good? I don't know. And then maybe, you know what? This guy could be our savior. He could help us through the whole thing. But my fear is just like dropping everything all at once, and then we have nothing. Then we will have no hype cycle, because we'll be like, we already know everything before the big trailer in June, June 2027. That we'll have to wait months before the game comes out and know everything. And every time there's a trailer, we'll be like, yeah, we knew that. That's lame. This whole thing's lame. There's a thing about the human dynamic of it all. Like, there's a reason that trailers exist. It's to get you hype. It's to get you engaged. And this kind of information can work the same way. Don't get me wrong. But once you know everything, once the public knows everything, you know, we get descriptions of all the megas, the ZA megas. People like oh my gosh, I can't remember his name right now. There was artists that almost got exactly what the Pokemon themselves were, the megas were, from those descriptions. If we get descriptions like that, we're cooked. Anyway, some people will disagree with me 100%. Some people will just disagree with me. Didn't we all already get duped last year with the Majin's Apostles and all that crap? Yeah, Yami, we did. We did. Dear YouTube, soul hurt slurs. No, Candy, please. I didn't mean to. It's possible he's just someone from the community trying to go scorch earth with all the private info. That's also possible, Aster. That is also possible. That's kind of what I'm getting at, actually. That's the most possible situation, in my opinion. But with that means that a lot of the info is actually real, but a lot of that info is also taken out of context from who originally leaked it. I think that is something as well, but I don't mind the chaos there, because then it ends up not being exactly what... It's like a game of telephone, so like the fourth person that actually relays the message, it's like the message is a little messed up. And then once we actually see the game or see the trailers, it's like, whoa, it's not how I thought. I like that kind of thing. It's not how I thought. Anyway. I think, Aster, that is like one of the best assessments of the whole thing. They don't like the private info that's been going around. They just shared it all. They don't like all the LARPers that have been going around, so they're like, let's put them all down. Sure. I think to the scale of leaks SV and ZA had, and now Gaia is going to reach, have ruined it even for those of us obsessed with leaks. Last 3 games have just been absolutely destroyed before release. Bingus, I agree 100%. Because I used to love leaks as well. And, yeah, I don't know if it's because I got older, but I feel bad for the other people involved. The other Pokemon fans that are not us. I think because I have a big account too, like, I just see tons of people like, I don't want this or whatever. I don't know, there's a dark side to it all in a way. So and yeah, I think ZA was ruined for me in a lot of ways, personally. ZA specifically. Scarlet and Violet, like, the hype cycle was ruined for me. That sucked. I live for the hype cycle. I love the hype cycles, the promotional cycles, in other words. I like it sometimes more than the games, and so when that whole thing is ruined, like with what Kaka did, I probably shouldn't be saying that. Man, I'm gonna get... No, this cursing is allowed on YouTube. Never mind. I'm gonna get demonetized for saying all these bad words. But yeah, it's a double-edged sword. I'm trying to catch up, but there's so many messages, and it works too. It leaves those who knew the info in advance wondering if it's one of them plus some LARP, or if it's actual person who has both their info and info from deeper under the iceberg. Yeah, in a sense it does. In a sense it definitely does. No game has had a crazier leak season than ZA. Yeah, I don't know. Scarlet and Violet was insane. I did not, for any reason, enjoy the like hype cycle of Scarlet and Violet. Like, I don't know. There was at the beginning with Koo stuff that was kind of fun. You're right. Everything from ZA was leaked. Everything. That's true. That's true. It was worse in that sense, for sure. The best thing about leaks is hype and speculation. You don't know for sure the leak is true, so it creates a good conversation piece. The leaks seem to be drip fed before now. It's like a tsunami. Yeah, I agree. ZA's biggest issue was the drip feed. Like in a bad way, I think the drip feed is actually good. Billy and Kurwa are actually Sony and Microsoft accounts seeding mistrust and dissent among Pokemon enjoyers. Oh man. I was trying to scroll up and see if there's anything else. Again, the 300 Mons thing being so fake. Again, it's not fake, in my opinion, but at the end of the day, it might not be 300. And so everyone's going to be like, see, it was fake. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's going to be like, so it was fake. It was fake. We don't have 300, but it might have been a real thing at one point. That mega leak honestly took like 25% of the enjoyment out of ZA for me. Yeah. There's definitely certainly fault on leakers being disappointed after leaking stuff. It's a burden for sure. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff. I mean, like I said, double-edged sword, two-edged sword. I haven't looked too much on the leaks, but with potential 300 months, don't you think the hype cycle could be as full as Sun and Moon, but have a lot more? Yes, a lot more still unknown after release. Yes, it could be Sun and Moon, and then you still have like 200 more Pokemon after they've revealed 100 throughout the year. Like, it's the best case scenario for like a good trailer season, promotional season, I think, anyway. And so it's like, do I want to ruin something like that? I don't know. Kurwa, I guess I'm afraid of saying your name now, but do you want to ruin that? I don't know. You do you. I don't want to tell people what to do, that's for sure. I'm just voicing my opinion. I think to the scale of leaks... Okay, I did read that. I'm just scrolling up to read some of your guys' stuff. I think I went through most of this. Corey and Kurwa happened strikingly close together. Curious if he would have deleted his account as if Kurwa hadn't appeared. Probably not. Leakers do not do well together. Like, never. They cannot coexist a lot of times. So one of them gets upset. One of them calls them bad names. They're like, oh, how do you know this? And all that. Unless they're like already friends or something, or they trust each other. And even then, you know, it just gets a little saucy. I don't know where that word even came from, but it did. Oh, a rare candy. They literally copied Poke's post moments after they tweeted about Netsu and progression from obstacles. See, Yami, I haven't been keeping up with that because I know that they're like, it's not even that they were a fake account. I should have kept up with that because apparently it could have been Billy's alt. I'm not sure. But if it was Billy's alt, then it could have been some real stuff. And if he was keeping up with that, that's interesting. Though at the same time, it almost makes me feel like he is legit. Because if he posts something that account posted, I don't think he would trust that account. I don't know if that makes sense, but it makes sense in my mind. Who cares? The game is out in like 22 months. So one of these things is like, they're saying they get regional evolutions, but I don't know if that's actually true. There's nothing that says it has to be a regional evolution. I actually think it's more likely that they'd be cross-gen evolutions. Some of them will be regional, some of them won't, in my opinion. So it's not set in stone that they'd be regional, if they are even existing. I also think that, I just posted this, but I think that it's possible that they are placeholders, okay? That the new Pokemon are not in the game yet. He said that, right? He said the old Pokemon are there in place of the new ones. I know that he wasn't talking about in the list, but he was talking about in the game. And I think there probably could be a way, and I don't know for sure, but there could be a way where these are just placeholder names for Pokemon that seem to be like the new ones that are going to be there. It's an option. So these are not necessarily, in my opinion, on top of them being a rumor, because we don't know if the dude is legit, on top of them being something that has leaked before that had nothing to do with evolutions. All right. There's also this factor that they might be placeholder names for something that we don't even know. We don't even know. Same goes for this. It's the evolution might not be there, and the Tropius evolution might not be there because it's a build that is early and it is not complete or finished. I also want to say that these things could be cut before the final game comes out. We're so early. Just think, if the game comes out a year and like however many months, it would have been saying it a million times. But there's so many months, more than a year from now. Okay, the game comes out. They could cut, they could change, they could swap, they could do whatever they want. They have plenty of time to do it still. This again, same thing. Areas you only reach by flying is exciting. Something we kind of knew, but it's more, we were more speculating. This is more concrete, so that's kind of fun to know. This, whatever. And this we already knew. So again, like I said, it's like 90% what we already knew, 1%, not 1%, 10% what we didn't. Game Freak told Eevee, I don't want to play with you anymore. That's another thing. Like, if there's 300 Pokemon, I just cannot see a world where they don't make an Evolution, one of them, that Evolution's going to make money. It's going to sell the games. Like, not only is the merchandise going to sell money, like make money, but it's also going to sell these games. Sylveon made X and Y something crazy, you know? 300 Pokemon just sounds so bad. No, 300 Pokemon sounds amazing. I don't know if you saw my tweet, but 300 means that 100 of them could be on one side of the Asian-based animals. That is in real life, there's more Asian types of animals on one side of Southeast Asia, and on the other side, there's more Australian, Indonesian-based animals on the other side, and that could be the other 100 Pokemon. It's amazing. I think it's amazing. And the more Pokemon, the better. And we haven't had a new generation in 5 years, half a decade. We haven't had a new generation of Pokemon. And we didn't even get any new ones in ZA. The last time we got a new Pokemon was freaking Pecharunt. 300 is great. It does make me question what will happen in the DLC. I said this last time. Like, I think that if there are 300 in the base game, I don't think we'll get any for the DLC. I think we might get maybe some new gimmick forms, but I think they'd just be like, we gave you all these Pokemon, you can use them now in the DLC. You know, they'll just repackage them somehow. Like, use these, you know, and maybe some legendaries, maybe like 5 more Pokemon that are just legendaries. You won't agree with me, Soul, but it genuinely baffles me that people see that there's 300 and think the quantity is going to equal quality with Pokemon. I mean, for me, Pokemon always has an amount that are bad, and they always have an amount that are good. And that is subjective, but it's just a bigger amount of both of those things, if that makes sense. And I do think that they intentionally wanted to do this, so I think that they probably put their heart and soul into designing these things, and I think that they probably brought back a lot of cut Pokemon too, if this is a whole real thing. Also, we don't know. One other 100 could be all of the seed Pokemon's evolutions. I'm not counting that out at all. I'm telling you right now. The seed Pokemon was meant to be a procedural generated evolution creature. So I think that Flareon's quick attack is just taking names, killing everybody out here. I just want to learn a fire move. Is that possible? But I don't know what I was saying. Oh, the seed Pokemon could be 100 of them. Like, literally. Half a decade with no new game doesn't even feel right. Yeah, I know, for real. Mainline games, yes, it's true. The benefit of long-term development time to me was that they were going to go into detail on new additions, tailor areas, quests to them. I don't want them to use the time to just make more. Well, how it works is Game Freak, the designers, the people designing Pokemon are not working on the game. They just draw, you know? Like, they're not putting the Pokemon in. There's a designing section of Game Freak that does all those things, you know? And then it moves over to Creatures Inc. And Creatures Inc. is the one that makes the models of the Pokemon based on the concept arts of the people that designed them. And they probably work together with them and all that. So there's no, like, they're not gonna, it doesn't mess up that whole thing. So I wouldn't worry too much about that being the case. I would just say they probably were like, hey, designers, you guys work extra hard on making a whole bunch of designs. And you know what? Let's bring some older ones back and see if we can make something out of that. Heart and Soul, like Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Yes. They put the Heart Gold in and Soul Silver into it. Let's hope. No Way Seed is 100 deck slots. That would make improbable to complete the decks. True. But maybe it's not like connected to that whole thing. Do you know what I mean? Maybe it's not part of the decks. Maybe the 100 Pokemon that are there are not, have nothing to do with that whole thing. I already went there. Like 5-year development with 150 Pokemon could have given them crazy memorable areas, moments in the game. I still think, like I said, I don't think it's very connected, actually, Jark. So rest easy. It is connected a little bit. I'll give you that. They definitely have to think about like working with what's in the game, but as far as it goes, like developing it, I don't think that many of the designers, some of them are, but I don't think many of the actual art Pokemon designers have any part to do with that whole thing. Gonna need extra hydration breaks for the Gen 10 tier list. Indeed, indeed. Love it. See ya, Icy Boy. Thanks for being here the whole time. You guys have been awesome. Let me just pull this up as always. Please like the stream for me. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed. I do stuff like this all the time, and I'm gonna be trying to do even more. And tell your friends, share it around.